back to Shop Talk. In a previous episode, we built some DIY crampons. I tested them out around the house and found a couple of changes that needed to be made. Made some straps that went over the top like this. Now we're ready to take them out into the woods. So let's head out and see how they work. So there's a spot that I had planned for coffee here. Alright, I brought my alcohol stove with me here and make a cup of coffee here. And brought my backpacking chair, so let's get set up and enjoy a cup of coffee, and we'll go over the pros and cons for these DIY crampons. So while we wait for my for my water to warm up here, let's go over the pros and cons of these crampons that I made. So unfortunately, I believe there's more cons than pros. We'll start with the cons. So con number one is that the rubber from the inner tube is really stretchy compared to the rubber that you'll see on crampons you buy in the store. So what I was having issues with is that when I get on a hard surface, like hard packed ice, the crampons would splay out and flip around the sides of my boots. And then they also the rubber wasn't strong enough to clamp onto my boot. So like when I was trying to, I just used them while I was snowblowing the driveway, and they stuck to the slushy snow. And then my foot literally pulled right out of them. So I'm like walking around like, oh, I can't even tell they're on. And I look back and they're stuck to the driveway. So that's when I put these straps over the tops of them to try to keep them pulled to the bottom of the boot, which worked. Since I've been out here, I've been walking around in snow and stuff that I could feel them kind of sticking to the snow a little bit, and they didn't pull off my boots. So that definitely helps. So yeah, so con number one is that the rubber that I'm using is too stretchy. Okay, so con number two would be that you have these stainless steel nuts strapped to the bottom of your feet, and they tend to want to try to roll around to try to fit and conform to the tread on the bottom of your boots, which kind of gives this feeling like you're walking on ball bearings while on ice. And they didn't really grab onto the ice and just want to stay put. They kind of wanted to give, and I almost felt like I was on ice skates a little bit when I was going downhill. Like it didn't increase my confidence on the ice. So that's probably a game over for them right there. The crampons are supposed to increase your confidence on, hard packed ice, and these, they don't do it. So unfortunately, I'd like to I'll keep the DIY project up. I'm curious to see if someone sees it. I'll put a little comment on it. Maybe someone can improve upon the design, and maybe we come up with something in the community that's going to work better. But for now, yeah, I'm not real confident with these. I actually took them off because then on top of that they slipped over the toe, and they were more of a pain to wear than they helped. So, but as far as pros go, I mean, they're cheap, and they could be cheap to the point where they're free if you have this stuff laying around the garage. Like I had the tube laying around the garage. I just had to go get the nuts, but I thought it was an interesting idea. It was kind of fun to do. So, yeah. So I just wanted to create a short video on testing these out and show you guys how they work. It's kind of been my style lately, build a project and show you guys how to make it, and then I go out and does it actually work. So maybe that's going to be the format here for a while. But other than that, I'm going to have a cup of coffee here, sit back, and then just enjoy the birds and the quiet for a few minutes. So how was the coffee, you ask? Well, couldn't get my alcohol stove started. I didn't bring a a metal pad for it to sit on. And I've actually never used my alcohol stove on top of snow before, so essentially when I put my pot on there, all the snow sucks the heat from the stove, and it stops the vaporization process of the alcohol, so I ended up having to give up. So I can't promise you guys you're always going to see best practices on this channel, but you'll always see best effort. So, well, duty calls. My wife's with the kids right now, so I'm going to head back and punch back in. So let's head back without the crampons on. I just kind of want to see if it feels any different, or maybe if I slip a little more on the way back without them. So let's head back. So I'll tell you right now, climbing up this hill, I don't feel like those crampons gave me any extra traction. I felt like they actually made it feel a little more slippery, actually, because they're slipping and sliding around on the bottom of my boots. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll come up with a slightly different way to modify them, or I don't know. If I come up with a good idea, I'll put out like a modification video or something on how to make them work. But I'll probably have to pony up the dough for a real pair, which if you need a pair because you're actually doing a serious hike, I mean, buy quality, pony up the dough and get a real pair of crampons. I just like to make and figure things out, and when things go wrong, how can we improve it? How can we make it better? It's just kind of the way I operate, so that's why I do these sorts of things. I like to keep my gears turning. And actually, it was a perfect day for testing these, because yesterday it was a couple degrees above freezing, 34 degrees Fahrenheit. That was probably what, 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. And then today it's around 30 degrees, so a couple degrees below freezing, so everything that thawed out yesterday froze up, and now there's ice everywhere, so it's a perfect day for it. And they were found to be wanting. So I have another DIY project that I'm working on as well. It's about mid process right now. So if you're curious about the details on that, I'll be giving some sneak peeks on my Instagram. If you wanted to follow me over there, you'll get some behind the scenes look at that stuff. Other than that, I'm hoping to be able to get out and do an actual adventure. I've never been out I never had the pulk in the snow yet, so I'm hoping to get out sometime in February for a quick overnight with the hot tent. hoping if I can get out. So we'll see. Things are busy at home, so it might not happen. I wanted to thank you guys for coming along with me and trekking deep into the wilderness of Plymouth, Minnesota. Remember, I'm always here to help you guys separate the signal from the noise. We'll see you on the next one. Later.